All right, everybody. Glad you can make it here with us. We're here on Rosecrans and Central in Compton because of a couple of things. Our commitment to our people and to reality. Because if it's no reality going on, then it can't be real. My name is Ron Dorn, and this is Mr. Russell, marriage and family therapist, psychologist in LA schools, primarily South Central. I substitute in South Central. The other reason we're here is because we saw a movie a couple of weeks ago called Straight Outta Compton. For me, it brought up some things. For Mr. Russell, it brought up some things also, and we're going to discuss it, maybe to have us think a little bit about what's really going on. So the first thing you told me that it brought up for you was not so much the movie, but after seeing the movie, you thought about some things. One of the first things you told me was, what was the positive message for the youth? Would you like to discuss that?
Well, yeah. First of all, let me give props to whoever made the movie, produced the movie. I don't like to say no names. But it was entertaining. I remember N.W.A. I remember those years. And I had laughs, I had little cries. It was like enjoyable. When I walked out, I had to come back to reality and what I do. And what I do is save kids. What I do is talk to young men and women about life. And so I had time to reflect on the movie, and one of the things that it brought out for me was a depiction of black women. I'm really big on that because I was raised by all women. I was raised by a great-grandmother that scrubbed floors. I was raised by a grandmother that sold drugs in north side of Tulsa all the way to Sacramento. I was raised by a mother that was depressed the majority of my life and couldn't get out the bed. I didn't have no father figure. I didn't have anybody. And I'm watching these women and I see them struggle. But I see they did the best they could. So when I look at my aunt, even my aunt's a prostitute even right now. So when I look at that movie, it brought out some things to me, and I said, my God, when are we, as people, producers, mental health professionals, whoever we are, going to put a great image about black women? I know some great black women. I know some powerful black women. I also know some women that are not doing so well. I know some crack addicts. I know some hoes. That's what we say on the movie, hoes, crackhead, thoughts, whatever. But I had a problem with that because I never see that image portrayed in the hood. I'm not talking about in the movies or whatever. Yeah, they got the pretty females and the nice long hair. I'm talking about when they portray the hood, Compton, Watts, Fifth Ward of Houston, you know, all these in Chicago. They don't depict our black women as positive. And I got a problem with that because I counsel young black women. I talk to them about self-image, self-esteem, self-efficacy. And so it kind of took me back a little bit. Not that they portrayed it, but where's the aftermath? Where's the aftermath showing that there are some positive women in these movies? So I had a problem with that.
Okay. Also, you talked about there was no love between those that were Bloods and no love between those that were Crips.
Right.
How so?
Well, you know what? You know, it is what it is. You know, when you out here, that's the lick. You know, you about business. But when I watched the movie, it took me back because I was doing my thing back in the day, tripping all day. And the story I have to tell is when I finally went to school at 28, 29, I got out of the gang. And I remember going to this Christian university, and I met a friend from Pasadena. And we chopping it up one day, man, just having fun. And he said, where you from? So I'm from Watts, LA, North Tulsa. Where you from? Pasadena. We kind of looked at each other, and all of a sudden he said, I'm from Pyro. I said, I'm insane. And we had that 20-second moment where I don't think I like you, you don't like me, and we forgot where we was. we forgot that we were in college because we was with it. And I said to him, and he said to me, if we had to do this all over again, what would we do? He said, because if I saw you on the street, you was dead. And I said, likewise, my brother. And it made us feel a lot of guilt. It made us feel a lot of conviction, because I knew he was telling the truth, and I was with it. I always been with it. So another issue that I had is I'm wearing this red shirt. It's a red shirt. I never wear red. 3 or 4 years ago, my sister looked at me and she said, what you doing? Why are you wearing that? And I was like, listen, I'm trying to get this out of my mind. I'm a professional, I'm degreed, I'm mature, I'm a father, I'm a son. But my sister said, you're supposed to be with it for life. That's the code. And I said, well, we gotta change that mentality, because I can wear what I wanna wear. I can be in Compton and I can wear red, I can wear blue, and still not be with it. I'm about love. I'm about taking these young kids and saying, you ain't gotta do drugs. You ain't gotta slaughter nobody. You ain't gotta do those drive-bys. And where I'm from, we didn't even fool with drive-bys. We look at you dead in your eyes and it's over, ta-da. It's as simple as that. And I just look and I go, wow, we need to make some movies that depict great queens, great kings, how we coming up, how because of the Ferguson and all the police shootings, I've seen a little decrease in black on black crime for me, period. I just have. I also have seen an increase on Mexican and black encounters, which is very fierce. So I've had encounters myself. So that's just like a scratch of my life, but I'm here. I want to teach these kids how to look at it objectively, and to let them know that there's some folks that have been there, done that. Now, I'm one of the few school psychologists in the nation that has had that experience, and I made it out because of prayer, because of mentors, brothers like you, my mother, praying mother. I'm here. I'm still standing. I'm above ground. So that's real.
Well, for me, I was a little disappointed. I thought it was going to be a lot more raw. I didn't know anything about N.W.A. except, I listened to some of the music. So I was a little like, wow, I was expecting that to be a little more raw. It seemed to me, and I told the brother here about it, sanitized. Now that could be for several reasons. It could be, well, we're older now and we have an image we'd like to project. We're businessmen now, or it could be the multitude of lawsuits that were going on between everybody. And I was listening to an interview by Jerry Heller, and he said, well, there's certain things I can't talk about that were stipulated in the contract of the lawsuit that I can't say. So for them to get a beneficial result on the lawsuit, sometimes they can't speak, sometimes it can't be portrayed in the movie. Another interesting fact that I found in my research after seeing the movie was, and I like to say this is one of the few movies that brought up more questions than I had answers for. And so hence I did a bunch of research. And they had 2 months to write the script. They had 4 or 5 writers on it. They weren't pleased with it. They had 2 months before they would lose their tax exemption. And so they couldn't find anyone in Hollywood. They said that nobody in Hollywood wanted to touch it because they only had 2 months. And so they went to Connecticut and got a guy that was self-proclaimed, not I'm saying what he was, he says a white, Jewish, gay guy from Connecticut to write the script. Second thing I would like to say is the contention that Eazy-E died for me is very difficult for me to realize and to believe. Some of the brothers from Bone Thugs and Harmony, they expressed the same dismay, skepticism. None of Eazy-E's wife didn't get it. Child didn't get it. What's up? Another thing you wanted to talk about was the positive image for the youth.
Well, anytime, like I said, I liked N.W.A. They brought out a lot about the police. It was a foreshadowing. It was prophetic. In other words, what they said back in the day is really manifested right now. We see that, and you wonder, who likes us? Who values our culture? And so when I look at political correctness, I throw it out the door. If you want political correctness from me, you're not gonna get it. But what I do appreciate it is that when you are real and you talk about what's really happening, some things is gonna happen. Some people are gonna be moved, if you know what I mean. And so what I looked at in the movie was there were some things to discuss. There's some things that need to be discussed right here in this world. Police brutality, drugs. It's like they said, we didn't bring drugs to South Central. We didn't bring Uzis and Tech 9s to South Central. We just didn't. I done fired those. I done did some stuff. I never seen where the supply came from. All my homies just trying to get it. We didn't have no money like that. So it was a lot of, when you start talking about stuff like that, you're going deeper. You're talking deeper. So I would like movies that depict the truth. Can we talk about the truth? Can anybody tell the truth? Can anybody sacrifice their pride and how much money they're gonna get and help our people instead of trying to make that change? That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Also, why don't you go a little bit more into your background?
Sure.
You know?
Okay. Well, a lot of young men that I see all over the country, they don't have fathers. Not only do they have fathers, when they go to school, they don't even have people that want to mentor them. You know why? Because they're different. They come from a different culture. They come from a different language. They speak ebonically. They speak from the street. They speak from the heart. They might not have the academic aptitude, but they're smart in other ways, and people give up on that. So when I was growing up, people gave up on me. I had nobody. And when I did have my dad in my life, he abused my mom. I had people abuse my grandmother. My grandmother became a pimp and a drug dealer, and she hated men. So I hated men. That's the only role model I had. So if you was a man, and you was a black man, I hated you. I don't have to talk to you. I don't have to break bread with you. I hated you because my grandmother, that's the only thing I knew. So I got into the military, and I couldn't follow orders. I couldn't do it, man. Especially from Eurocentric men of non-color. So when they said something to me, I remember a first sergeant spit on me. I was about to go to prison. I'm like, they're about to take me to prison. Because where I'm from, we don't violate our space. Don't get in my space. And so from there, man, I did some things. I was military recon, combat, martial arts, hands and feet registered, did my thing. And when I got out, I did some things. I did protection. I didn't sell drugs. I wasn't with that. Didn't steal, didn't care. But I did protection. And I was with it. And it made me feel good. It made me feel good that I would walk up and a brother would fear me. Not that he respect me, but he feared me. And so from there, man, I did a lot of bad things. And at age 27, 28 years old, changed my life. Walked into a university. They laughed at me. I did it for jokes. And they let me in. Who would let me in? They let me in on probation. I was like, my God. But then what happened is I changed my mentality. Not because of the different ethnic groups. I didn't like none of them. If you weren't black, I didn't like you. But what I realized that the mentality didn't speak to the skin. You feel me? The mentality didn't speak to the skin always. And so I learned a different way of looking at life. And I began to get good at school. And I began to get a bachelor's degree. I have 3 master's degrees, finishing up my doctorate, trying to learn Spanish, trying to learn Chinese. I'm out here in the hood, that's where I grew up. And I feel good about myself that I can go to these youngsters and I can go, this is OG right here. I don't have to tell them. They just know. So you don't have to tell nobody who you are. They just know. And so that's a little bit of my background. I can't tell everything. I can't do that.
Hey, they couldn't do it in a movie.
Hey, couldn't do it. Hey, couldn't do it. That's why I have so much respect for it, because I get it. But I did some things that I'm not proud of. We all have did some things we're not proud of. But I'm here now, standing above ground. I got all the homies that's gone. Most of my homies are gone. They gone. But professionally, I'm proud of myself, and I'm proud of any young black man or woman. Don't matter what color, Mexican, Filipino. We live in a very multi-ethnic culture. So I embrace all kids. So when I see the essays talking about, oh, what's up, whatever, I shut it down. When I see the brothers talking about, oh, we're gonna smoke this, no, I shut it down, because I've been there. Once you're gone, you're gone. Dead men don't make decisions. That's real.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for us. We hope you have taken this in, maybe had some introspection, maybe influenced some of your thinking, whichever way. But we're here on Central, Rosecrans and Compton, and we hope you enjoy it. Peace.
Well,